Okay, let's get going here. We're back from our recess and our brief legislative. Okay, we're going to open up the hearing on, what did we just say, for 262? Yeah, we did 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on AB 262. Yep, on AB 262. Assemblywoman Anderson. Who else is
Good evening, Chair Dennis, Vice Chair Dondero Loop, and members of the Senate Education Committee. My name is Nathan Anderson. It is my honor to represent Assembly District 30. When I originally presented AB 262 in the Assembly Education Committee, as well as in Assembly Ways and Means, my presentation was a little bit longer, so I decided to cut out the 38 slide slideshow, as well as the 15 people that were going to come up for support, and just give you the information as quickly as possible, if you're okay with that. Or we can also break for dinner if you like, whatever you prefer.
No.
No, okay. Okay, so I will get straight to the point. When I presented, again, AB 262 in the Assembly Education Committee, I was joined by the 27-year chair of the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony, Arlen Melendez, which represents both all three Washoe, Paiute, and Shoshone members. I do not believe he will be able to join us today, but I would like to, with the chair's permission, highlight just a few of the points he mentioned. So, again, these are his words. The land where the University of Nevada, Reno now stands was once home to the Paiute and Washoe peoples. This is where our camps were in those early years, all along the north side of the Truckee River. Some of our people recognized how close these encampments were, where our homes were, before we were placed on Indian reservations of only 28 acres when my tribe started out. When tribal nations are strong, then the state of Nevada is strong. Within many of the 27 tribes within our state, many of them rural, economic development is just about non-existent. For tribes to try to help to pay for education, it is impossible. But if we can get educated students to come back to the reservation and work for the tribes, we can build an economic base which may be able to help future students with educational expenses. Tribal governments and our Native American communities greatly support this bill due to the fact that it will not only benefit Native students, but with this ability to get better paying jobs to reach their individual goals. It will also strengthen our tribal communities with a skilled workforce. Finally, he stated we are also talking about a reciprocal sharing of knowledge. When we talk about everything taught at the college regarding climate change and the environment, we must recognize that universities in general can learn from Native Americans themselves about practices that have been around for thousands of years. This sharing has to come from the students themselves who attend these universities and colleges and can interact with the teachers and share with fellow students the concepts and different practices that have been taught and handed down for generations. This reciprocal sharing of knowledge is a win-win for the universities and the tribes as we try to help each other to make the state of Nevada and the country a better place. Now, back to me. When I first started this journey, I was under the impression that it would be a quick, easy bill. I'm looking at the data when it came to our Native American students, and I see that in the 2018-2019 graduating cohort, our Native American students are 10% less graduating from high school. That graduating student cohort was 74.4%. The statewide average is 84.1%, so it was not quite 10%. And then I started digging deeper, and I had an opportunity to work with an amazing group of people over the last 6 months who taught me many other things about the Native American community, one of which was the number of students that are actually enrolled in our NSHE, or Nevada System of Higher Education, areas. The enrollment data from 2019 academic year from NSHE has 698 students who are self-identifying, and that's a very important term, self-identifying as American Indian Alaska Natives. It is unclear how many are actually members of a Nevada-recognized tribe and or nation. What is very alarming, though, is this number is going down. With the latest numbers in the fall of 2020, this number has decreased down to 587 students who are self-identifying. It is basically less than 1% of the student population. Finally, I started doing a little bit more research as well. This is the right thing to do for our state. There are currently 15, actually soon it will be 16, Colorado today, great timing, today passed out of the third house a bill that is similar to this, which actually grants some sort of waiver for our Native American students to attend their systems of higher education. Michigan has been offering something like this since the 1970s. We need to do something as a state if we are going to start to recognize the importance this community has had for us and our growth, as well as where we've come from. And NSHE actually recognized this as well. They recognized it in the 70s until the early 80s, 1980s, and they still actually have language on the books where they offer different waivers, but that's not governed by the Nevada Legislature. These waivers were capped, and you can only have a certain number of recipients, and even at one point, it can only be one tribe. That is not okay. We need to think about this as a whole state. Finally, cost is the main deterrent as to why Native American students do not attend college. So very quickly, this bill would do two things. The first thing, it would allow for students who are members or descendants of federally and Nevada recognized tribes in Nevada be granted a full waiver of the per credit cost. That would include the registration, the class fees, the lab fees, and numerous other fees for all Nevada systems of higher education institutes. That could be community college, or it could also be the universities. This waiver could be used for full or part-time students. Students will need to fill out a FAFSA form to be able to utilize it, and they will also need to get clarifications or verification, from the enrollment department of the tribe or nation which they are from. This takes away a large issue that it's very difficult for us to, as a state, to always understand, and that has to do with the blood quotient. We're allowing the tribe to make those decisions, so that way they would have that information. The second thing that this bill would allow is a report of the number of students that this is helping that would qualify, as well as the total funding needed from grants, gifts, and other federal contributions. The report would be submitted to the LCB by September 1st of each year, beginning next calendar year. It is believed that there will be around 240 students this first time. But that's been one of the hardest things, is that we just don't have that information of how many students exactly would it be. So that's one reason why we're asking for the report, is so that way we can have a stronger understanding for future discussions. In closing, I would like to highlight a comment from Ryan Boone, a student of University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and a member of the Walker River Paiute tribe, who also joined me when I presented to the Education Committee in the Assembly. In our communities, we face a lot of mental health concerns, high suicide rates, and mountains of intergenerational trauma. And today, we are asking for your help. I have several Indigenous friends who are also students, and they have considered dropping out because of the stress of lingering debt, paired with unjustifiable lack of support. What I hope for and long to see is myself and my Native peers graduating and returning to our communities to support and uplift each other. My cultural identity is a huge part of who I am, and I cannot see myself having continued on the path to my degree without the support of friends and family. My culture is a huge part of Nevada. I want a better future for Nevada. I want a better future for Native students, current and prospective, and I hope you do as well. This bill has the power to change the lives of Indigenous people. Now, more than ever, we need your support on the Nevada Indian Tuition Waiver. Thank you, Chair Dennis, for this time and this opportunity in presenting AB 262. Marla McDade-Williams is also here with me. If there are questions, I'm more than happy to do that at this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Questions? Senator Lang.
Thank you, and I was so pleased that you brought this bill forward. Early in the session, the University of Nevada, Reno they had a class project, and each class had to come up with something that talked about Indigenous kids and college access. And I became very motivated by that and made lots and lots of calls. And so when I wanted to bring a bill, and when I saw you did, I was like, yes, I want to sign on to this. So thank you so much for bringing this forward. I think it's really important.
Any questions? I'm not seeing any. Okay, thank you. Let's bring forward anyone wishing to speak in support. You'll come forward here in the room, and then we'll go online. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Marla McDade Williams with Strategies 360, representing the Reno Sparks Indian Colony today. I want to thank Assemblywoman Anderson for bringing this bill forward. In the Assembly, we had a lot of compelling testimony about the importance of this bill, and one of the stories I remember was from a woman with the Reno Sparks Indian Colony. She talked about being on the school bus and basically seeing opportunity fly by her as she was transported to and from school, seeing that people felt that higher education was out of reach for them, and they just the disinterest that they showed, the further it got to, closer it got to graduation and not seeing opportunity, caused a lot of them to just, quit. And so, we're doing this for people like her, for people like Ryan, and honestly for people like me. I graduated 14th in my class of 180 kids in Elko, and I had no idea until I had gotten a transcript that I was 14th in my class. But I did apply to college, and I didn't know how to go, and I didn't have any money. So I just didn't go. I spent 2.5 years in Elko working until opportunity came up, and I figured it, I got to a university setting, but I still didn't have any money. And what I ended up doing was just begging and pleading and crying at the financial aid office one day. And somebody took me aside and gave me a loan for that very first semester. And it was something I had to pay back while I was in school. But, something that I did. And, we're just hoping that it gets easier for the rest of the kids, that not everybody has to go through these same struggles. So, and Mr. Chair, I just want to thank you for your service. We're going to miss you. I have to tell you, my daughter was testifying before your committee, maybe 3 sessions ago. And she saw you somewhere on TV, maybe crossing the street. She's like, Senator Dennis. So thank you for giving her that opportunity and making her feel comfortable with her classmates while she was testifying, and we're going to miss you. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Can I ask a quick question before she leaves, Chair?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, stay up here for a second.
Sorry, I just had to ask you a real quick question, Ms. McDade. So the question I have is, looking at the bill, there's a lot of things in here incentivizing folks to go to school. I've seen this before. You came up just briefly and talked a little bit and said that there's other states that have something like this. We had it in Alaska. It was not uncommon to have a lot of native Alaskan natives in school with me at the University of Alaska Fairbanks in the dorms. A lot of times they would last a semester, then they were gone. So it's one thing, I guess, to offer the program. What was lacking was that support they needed back in their community, to keep them there, to incentivize them to stay there. What do you see here? I take it you have probably a better knowledge of that, probably than anybody else that I know. So could you speak to that just for a brief moment to see if there's something that maybe needs to change there as well?
Thank you for the question. For the record, Marla McDade Williams. You're absolutely right. Supports in any college setting are really important, especially for Native kids. When I went, the first thing I did was seek out the support system for Native students, and I found a cohort of people, and we were from all different tribes, but we all had that common connection back to our reservations and to our culture and our history, and we had the best time. We played intramural softball, basketball, volleyball. We went to football games together. We played games together. There were times when we spent Thanksgiving together. But it was having that central location where we could all connect. And I know the University of Nevada, Reno has 2 support positions that it will be really important for them to keep and continue to grow, so that students do have a place to connect with each other, because you're right. And when you don't have that connection, it makes it that much more difficult. And, where I went to school, it was a college campus. And the University of Nevada, Reno and UNLV, they've been growing that, on their campuses now. So it's more of a college campus and not a commuter campus. And I think that makes a big difference. But it really is maintaining those supports, as you said, and having people connect. This waives some fees for them, but they still have a whole lot of challenges, right? You still have to be able to, pay your rent, pay your books, buy, do all of those things. And so just trying to give them a little bit of a step up and make it a little bit easier. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And of course, one of the comment I guess I was making is not necessarily just the support at the schools, but back home in their communities. So a lot of times they would go back after a semester, go back home, and there was no support from there. They go back home, and then that was it. I just wanted to know if that's changed in the many, many years since I've been in school. Sorry.
Well, thank you for that question again, Marla McDade Williams. That's another common thread, and I think in our communities we have to really value education. There's a lot of devaluing of it and not encouraging people or making it really hard for them. I know, and I just was lucky with my family, but I remember one of my aunts passed away when I was in school, and I'm like, okay, I'm headed home, right? Because you have that connection back to your home community, and you want to go home and you want to support your family. And my dad said, your aunt knows you loved her, and you need to stay and finish your education. And so I think we do have an obligation in our local communities to continue to try to let family know that it's important, and that they do need to support the kids who are there. And and they can't always do it financially, but if they can do it emotionally, that it will make a difference. My parents would send me $25, and I was like, woo, how far $25 could go, when you're a student. And so some of it's financial, but it really is just that emotional support. And like I said, in our communities, we need to continue to build that so that the kids know that they're supported when they go. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the line of question. $25 worth of ramen is a lot back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. How much
25.
ramen can you get for 25? That's like for a whole semester.
Thank you for your candidness, though. I appreciate that.
Thank you. All right, go ahead.
Excellent. Thank you. Will Adler representing the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe today. And I want to thank Marla McDade Williams for her testimony, and it was very powerful, and thank you for sharing that. Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe would like to add their name in support of AB 262. We'd first like to thank the Assemblywoman Nantha Anderson for bringing forward this measure and what it could do for tribal communities across Nevada, but especially Pyramid Lake. We've seen constantly, time and again, the best way to better a community is to educate that community. And sadly, it's very difficult to bring in educated professionals to a lot of tribes in Nevada. They're very rural, very distant places, and frankly, a lot of people don't want to live there because they themselves have student loans to pay off. So it's hard to be a doctor in rural Nevada. It's hard to be a dentist. It's hard to have these higher ed jobs. But if you're from that community, you want to come back to that community and serve that community. So Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe thanks Assemblywoman Anderson and all the co-sponsors as well for bringing forward AB 262 because they feel this is the first big opportunity to bring higher ed to the tribal communities and hopefully bring what higher ed can bring to a community back to the tribes. So thank you very much, and I appreciate all you hearing this today.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Christine Saunders, and I'm the Policy Director of the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada. We also just want to thank Assemblywoman Anderson for bringing this bill forward. Ditto the previous comments and add our support to the record. We urge you pass this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Benjamin Challoner, Policy Director for Faith Action Nevada. We'd also like to say ditto, especially to the remarks made by those who represent and are from our Native communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For the record, my name is Anna Magnus, and I'm the Executive Director of Battleborn Progress. We are here in support of AB 262. We thank Assemblywoman Anderson for her courage to carry and fight for this amazing bill. This legislation is the least we can do to support the indigenous people of Nevada, to whom this land belongs. Our Native communities have gone underserved for far too long. This is a great step that Nevada can take in righting the wrongs of the past and helping Native youth have a bright future. Please support AB 262. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Committee Chair Dennis and committee members. My name is Hava Ahmed, H-A-W-A-H-A-H-M-A-D, and I'm here representing the Clark County Education Association. We supported this bill in the Assembly, and of course, we'd like to thank Assemblywoman Anderson for bringing it forward. However, in the record, as an exhibit, we do have a teacher testimony from Miss Caroline Laura. I just wanted to read one portion of this testimony. Nationally, the largest hurdle for many of our students in attending college is the tuition costs. This barrier disproportionately affects our Native American population. It is imperative that we remove that obstacle from the pathway to higher education for our Indigenous communities here in Nevada. By doing so, we would make a more equitable playing field, as well as entice our young people to stay home and build our community stronger. For that reason, and in the support of our teachers and ensuring that we have educators across the state that are representative of our populace, we support this bill, and we are very, very eagerly awaiting having this bill become law. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Chris Daly, Nevada State Education Association, representing educators across the state of Nevada in support of AB 262. This is a bill, obviously, that will assist Native American students accessing higher education. It's an issue of social justice and the right thing to do. We do want to acknowledge our former leader, now Assemblymember Natha Anderson, for carrying this bill. We're looking forward to much more of the same in the years to come. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Eric Zhang, E-R-I-C-J-E-N-G, representing Asian Community Development Council. And I want to mention that in the engine system, UNLV, Nevada State, and CSN are both ANAPISI, Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander Survey Institution. Our success cases have been used as case studies for the success for Pacific Islander students serving the indigenous population for the Native Hawaiian Pacific Islanders here. And now we're here for solidarity for the indigenous tribes for Nevada. So we urge your support for Assembly Bill 262 and really thank Assemblywoman Anderson for this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to give testimony in support? Okay, let's go online. Anyone wishing online to give support to the bill?
Thank you, Chair. If you'd like to testify in support on AB 262, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 853, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin. If you're having oh, yes, thank you, caller. Proceed.
Doug Unger, D-O-U-G-U-N-G-E-R, UNLV Chapter President in Southern Nevada Government Affairs for the Nevada Faculty Alliance. On behalf of the Southern Nevada Faculty Alliance, we express our strong support of AB 262, believing it will encourage Native American citizens of Nevada to attend and enroll in our colleges and universities and pursue their careers and professions. We also acknowledge the Northern and Southern Paiute, Gauchute, Western Shoshone, Washoe, Shoshone, Timbisha, Ute, and other Native peoples on whose land we walk and live our lives every day in this state. Thank you for your support of AB 262.
Thank you. Can we go to the next caller?
Caller with the last 3 digits, 715, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Hello, Taylor Patterson, Taylorpatterson. I'm the Executive Director of Native Voters Alliance Nevada and a member of the Bishop Paiute Tribe. And I'll keep it short and just echo my support for this bill, especially as a former Native student that still is in student debt. I think it's really important to uplift our community and help right the wrongs of the past. So thank you, Assemblywoman Anderson, and thank you to the committee.
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller.
Caller with the last 3 digits, 117, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Michael Guss, last name spelled G-U-S-S, 2 S's as in Sam. I'm calling in support of the bill. I worked for the Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe for 2 years. And, you know, one of the things that I observed there, and certainly well known among employees of that particular tribe and of other tribes in Nevada is sometimes salaries at tribal governments are not equivalent to what you could earn in a local government or a state government. So, you know, for people who go to college, they may not be able, even if they wish to return home and work for the tribe because of the student debt. And I think that this bill would address that, so I urge you to pass it. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. We miss you in the committee. Let's go to the next caller. Michael was one of our committee secretaries at the beginning. Anyone else?
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Okay, let's go. Anyone wishing to give testimony in opposition? Here in the room? Not seeing anyone. Let's go online.
If you'd like to testify in opposition on AB 262, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to those wishing to give testimony in neutral.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Andrew Klinger, Chief Financial Officer for the Nevada System of Higher Education. And while we agree with all the comments that have been made in support of this bill, just wanted to put on the record our concern of the fiscal impact, in particular to the smaller institutions. And it's not just this waiver bill, but it's the waiver bills cumulatively, and hope at some point that we can have a bigger conversation, obviously not this session, but in the future, just about waivers in general. Thank you.
Good point. Thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Senator Doñate.
Thank you, Chair Dennis. I have a quick question in regards to that. So I'm having a tough time trying to put the financial piece together, and I actually have both UNLVs and UNRs tuition and costs pulled up. On average, with this bill, how much would a student save or not have to pay in fees? Do you have an estimate on that? Because the websites don't really differentiate; they just group tuition and fees together. So do you have an estimate of how much they would save?
Chair Dennis to Senator Donate. So our original, I don't have an average, but I can just give you, so our original fiscal note on this was for 837 students, and that was all students that had self-identified as Native American. So we don't know the number, as the sponsor discussed, we don't know the number that are Nevada tribe students. So we just have Native American students. So at 837 students, it was a $4.5 million over 2-year fiscal impact. And that was netted out with, federal grants and other things.
Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to give testimony in neutral here? Okay, let's go to online.
Thank you, Chair. If you'd like to testify in neutral on AB 262, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Okay, thank you. Assemblywoman, any closing comments?
Again, Assemblymember Anderson, thank you so much for the discussion, for the questions. I just think this is a great way for us to start to help the about 240 students that we believe this will be helping, based upon the data that we've been able to kind of glean from a variety of sources, that we believe it will be about 240 students the first time that we do this. And so then that report next time will be incredibly helpful to address the issue that Senator Donate brought up. Thank you so much, and looking forward to having this pass.
Thank you very much. So,
and one last
yes.
thing, this will be probably also my last time to have the opportunity to say thank you, Senator Dennis. I have, I believe, testified more than a few times in front of your committee, both in this role as well as my former role. Thank you for always being professional and kind. You will be missed.
Thank you. Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and close the hearing on AB 262, and we'll open the hearing on AB 319. Assemblyman Roberts. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee, for being here. I'm Assemblyman Tom Roberts, Assembly District 13, to present Assembly Bill 319 tonight. Also with me online is Mr. James McCoy from the College of Southern Nevada. I also have Mariana Kewen in the back here if we need to ask any follow-up questions. With your permission, first I'll give you a background on how this bill came about. I'll turn it over to Mr. McCoy. He'll run over the technical aspects of it and answer any of those questions, and then I'll turn it back over to you. This bill came as a recommendation from the Southern Nevada Forum, hosted by the Vegas Chamber and the City of Las Vegas last interim cycle, specifically the Senate Subcommittee on specifically the Subcommittee on Economic, Workforce, and Development. This committee was co-chaired by Senate Majority Leader Nicole Canizero, Senator Keith Pickard, Assemblywoman Sandra Howdigi, and myself. We held 8 meetings over a 6-month period. We had about 120 stakeholders that took part in those meetings. As you can imagine, the purpose of the meeting was to take up suggestions on how to stimulate economic growth and workforce development in Southern Nevada. And as you can imagine, we came up with hundreds of ideas at our initial meeting. And then over the next 8 meetings, stakeholders narrowed those ideas down to the final small group of specific recommendations, which one of those is what came out tonight. Dual credit courses for both community colleges and high school students that prepares them for early employment was a recommendation that was ratified by the group. As co-chair of the committee, I utilized one of my bill draft requests, and Sandra Howdigi and I are both co-sponsors of this, which since it started in the Assembly. As we drafted the bill early on, we gave this over to the College of Southern Nevada. They came up with the initial proposal. It came with a $15 million physical note, and during that time when we were drafting things, the outlook was not very promising, and a $15 million fiscal note probably wouldn't last long under those situations, although some things have changed, but the bill before you is what we came up with. And so we pared it down to a pilot program, and Mr. McCoy will basically go over why we chose a pilot program, what it will do, and he'll go from there. So I'll turn it over to Mr. McCoy.
Welcome, Mr. McCoy.
Thank you, and good evening. I appreciate that, Senator Dennis and Assemblyman Roberts. Thank you for carrying this bill along with your colleague. We are very much appreciative. My name is James McCoy. I serve as the Interim Vice President for Academic Affairs for the record. And Mr. Chair, if it's okay, may I share just a very brief PowerPoint?
Yes. Did you try it out earlier? Hopefully it works.
I did.
Okay, perfect.
And let's see if I can get this going. There we are.
It doesn't have like 300 slides, does it?
No, sir. I should be able to get through this in about 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So I'd first like to start by acquainting us, or reacquainting all of us. I know you are very familiar with the Dual Enrollment Foundation. And so, as you know, dual credit courses represent an essential strategy to develop a skilled and competitive workforce by increasing college and increasing career readiness. And a priority, I know, is to increase the number of people who complete a post-secondary credential or a certificate or a degree, especially in very high demand occupations within our great state. And so Assembly Bill 319, some of the foundational elements, as you've read, enhance existing programs for dual credit courses where a student in high school may earn college credit for the courses that they are taking while still in high school, and expanding the opportunity to participate in dual credit courses to students who are part of particularly underserved or at-risk communities. And communities with historically low rates of participation in post-secondary education is what AB 319 aims to do. So the big picture is to provide a model for achieving the strategic objectives of Nevada as it relates to post-secondary education and attainment by enhancing the opportunities for enrollment in dual credit courses available to high school students, again, with a particular emphasis in our underserved populations. So CSN is responding to the call, as Assemblyman Roberts mentioned, from the Southern Nevada Forum, namely to continue to partner with Clark County School District to bring robust dual credit opportunities for career and technical education pathways in critical industry sectors in Southern Nevada. Again, our focus is on underserved, low-income high school students. And it would be important to note there's a caveat with the dual enrollment piece, and it's the focus on concurrent enrollment. What this pilot aims to do is to align through a cooperative agreement that we will establish with Clark County School District strategies to expand these enrollment opportunities in dual credit courses. And we want to focus again on pursuing pathways in high demand industry sectors. We plan to promote this enrollment in dual credit courses through robust marketing. We've already begun laying the groundwork, as you can imagine, for initiating this bill should it pass. And we want to make sure that our students are walking out of this program with at least an earned 15 college credits. Additional provisions of the bill, the pilot outcome, we look forward to reporting back to all of you in fall of 2022. And that we will identify philanthropic and grant funding to support this pilot for these 1,000 students in and around Clark County. Again, the act would obviously expire on June 30th of 2023. So a quick note on the definition of the concurrent enrollment model. This is a unique model of dual enrollment, and we believe probably the most scalable and the most cost-effective. Whereas a high school teacher who is qualified to deliver college courses for dual credit is the instructor of record, providing both the high school curriculum and the college curriculum taught during the high school day and at the high school facility to high school students. So what this pilot in a nutshell will do is it will take the students who are currently entering into our high schools throughout this state, namely for this pilot in Clark County, in the CTE Articulated College Credit Program. These students are entering high schools in a particular college and career technical pathway, whether that be cybersecurity or advanced manufacturing or air conditioning or culinary hospitality. And they complete 3 years, their freshman, sophomore, and junior years in this pathway. And at the end of that 3-year experience, the students are given the opportunity to apply for college articulated credit. We believe that that credit should be earned as dual credit, as real credit, in real time, course for course, credit for credit. And so what we will do in this pilot is we'll take these students in these 3 years, the accumulation of their third year as they enter their senior year, and they'll engage in credit for credit concurrent enrollment, whereas the high school teacher will deliver that high school college curriculum. And they'll earn real credit for it. So not only are they earning and continuing their pathway in their CTE field in their senior year, but we think the propensity for them to continue on in college and be prepared for the workforce is icing on the cake. So with that, Senator Dennis, I will stop there and take any questions.
So, real quick,
Robert,
Mr. Chair, I know you had a dual enrollment bill. This one, I believe, complements yours. We actually amended some language so that it wouldn't conflict. The language aligns with yours. And so I'm sure you're interested in that, and Mr. McCoy and I will be here to answer any questions.
Okay, and actually, since you brought that up, I'm going to have Mr. Killian, our legal counsel, talk about that, because we had this bill, plus there was a third bill that Senator Kiekefer did on dual enrollment. Just wanted him to give us a real quick update on how they all, work together. Mr. Killian?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Asher Killian, Committee Counsel. And yes, it's correct that none of these 3 bills would conflict. SB 172, I believe is the correct number for the bill that you carried, Mr. Chair, which eliminates some of the prescriptive language about cooperative agreements and instead requires school districts and charter schools to establish programs for dual credit courses. And then SB 160 is the bill that Senator Kiekefer carried, which expanded dual credit to university schools for gifted pupils and also allowed institutions outside of this state to participate if the relevant courses aren't offered at institutions in this state. This bill, AB 319, would not conflict with either of those bills, and it kind of tackles the other side of dual credit in that it requires a particular institution within INCHE to offer a program of dual credit that meets certain specifications. So the other bills deal with what the school districts have to do. This bill deals more with what a particular institution within INCHE will offer to school districts.
Thank you. Sounds like a winning combination. There you go. Okay, any questions? Senator Buck.
Thank you, Chair Dennis. So I was just wondering, as far as the schools that you're going to target in Clark County School District, will they be magnet schools or the comprehensive high schools, or which ones?
Thank you. Mr. McCoy, could you handle those? Because he's laid out the plan. This is a shovel-ready program. They have a donor aligned to offset any government costs, so he can explain what the plan is.
You bet. Thank you for that, Assemblyman Roberts, and to you through the chair to Senator Buck. Yes, we have identified the high schools that are specific in Clark County School District that have these particular CTE pathways already operating within those schools. But more importantly, we took a look at the student population and the demographics of that population before making the determination on which high schools were going to participate in this program. Because again, this bill aims to put post-secondary access to some of the most underserved student populations in Southern Nevada. And so we looked at ethnic breakdown, we looked at socioeconomic status as vented through free and reduced lunch programming to identify, again, a population of students, 1,000 of them, in fact, who would have the best ability to benefit and perhaps who would have otherwise not had early access to college through a program like this.
Go ahead, follow up.
Thank you, Chair Dennis. So it is for magnet schools also, or comprehensive high schools? I'd be curious to see the list. The reason is with magnet schools tends to get the application, and so kids filter to the magnet schools, leaving the comprehensive schools with students that don't necessarily get out of that comprehensive high school to go to a program. So I'm interested in those programs going to the students, serving those students in those areas there. So do you have a list that you could send us?
Sure, James McCoy for the record, and Senator Buck, thank you for that question. You're absolutely right. The high schools that the Clark County School District is putting on the list, I will send that to you. It is by and large the comprehensive high schools. This is the Cheyenne High School, Bonanza, Basic High School. It's these high schools, again, who would have otherwise not had this kind of level of access. But we will make sure we get that comprehensive list.
Thank you so much. I'm such an advocate for dual enrollment. I see it as a bridge, and especially if you're touching those students that need it most. Thank you so much for bringing the bill.
All right, other questions? Don't see any. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start taking testimony. Those in support, if you'll come forward here, and those that are here in the room. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Good evening, Chair Dennis and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Dylan Keith, policy analyst with the Vegas Chamber, and it was my pleasure to oversee the Southern Nevada Forum, and specifically the Economic Development and Workforce Committee, which is where this bill originated. To give a brief overview, the Southern Nevada Forum is a bipartisan forum chaired by Speaker Frierson and partnered by the Vegas Chamber, the City of Las Vegas, and community stakeholders. Each of the 5 committees are co-chaired by members of each caucus, and I would like to thank Assemblyman Roberts and Assemblywoman Howdegi specifically for sponsoring this bill. This bill began as an idea, as 120 people in rotating groups provided ideas as we wrote down each of them before the participants voted to find out our top 10 priorities. Over the next 8 months, we heard presentations on each topic, and members of the forum voted for the top 3 priorities, which would be carried forward as bills during this legislative session. This bill is one of those 3 from Economic Development and Workforce Committee. For students from working class families, this means real college level classes at a fraction of the cost that are completed in high school. That alone is a major relief to many of Nevada's working class families. Later, in students' college careers, the completed classes translate to breaks in their schedule to complete internships as they begin to gain the experience and network that will help them join the workforce later. The importance of these classes can't be overstated enough for Nevada's families and students. With the alleviation of costs, preparing in high school for college level classes, and the time it affords students later in their later semesters to have time to complete internships and gain experience, dual credit classes carry over many, many benefits. Thank you to each of the co-chairs who generously spent their time, the community stakeholders who brought this legislation into fruition, as well as the College of Southern Nevada for creating this language. The Vegas Chamber is in support of this bill, and we urge your support as well. Thank you, Chair and members, for your time.
Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair Dennis, distinguished members of the committee. My name is Jim Frazee. I'm a high school teacher in Clark County. I also have the honor of being Vice President of the Clark County Education Association. CCEA supports AB 319, and we thank Assemblyman Roberts for bringing this bill forward. This bill is an important step in supporting the educational careers of our students who are college or career bound. Across the state, we already allow our schools to partner with other institutions to provide dual credit classes to high school students. So I believe it's important that we continue to expand these opportunities to even more schools. Expanding this program to include CSN will allow more of our students from diverse backgrounds the opportunity to earn college credits while they take their high school classes. Around 30,000 of Nevada's graduates enroll every year in CSN. By building in this connection with all our schools, it will only help our students not only enroll in a college, but complete their degrees to earn their certification in their chosen career path. And if I may add, I get off teaching my high school in the suburbs at 2 o'clock. I drive to the inner city and I teach night school from 3 to 6 p.m. I teach at a place called Morris Sunset East, which I'm honored to teach at. It is a school for regular kids that have had issues, whether it's people that have found gangs not to be the right path or had children and coming back. And every time I talk to seniors there and I say, you know, a high school degree is not what it used to be, that you need to go on and find something else. And they look at me like college, I'm asking them to climb Mount Olympus. And this opportunity to have the college come to them, this opportunity to pay for 15 credits, it's life-changing. So I hope this committee votes yes on it, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair Dennis and members of the Senate Education Committee. Thank you for your time. I'll try to keep it really short. I just wanted to come up here, Mariana Kiwen, Director of Government Affairs for the College of Southern Nevada, and I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you to a few people, starting with Assemblyman Tom Roberts for his patience, and co-sponsor Assemblywoman Sandra Howdy. Wanted to also thank the LCB staff, Jen and Pepper Sturm, and my colleague James McCoy for really devoting a lot of time to writing this bill and to ensure that we were not that we were consistent and not conflicting with other dual enrollment bills. I also want to thank the Vegas Chamber, of course, for hosting, and the City of Las Vegas for hosting the Southern Nevada Forum, and also the Clark County School District, especially their government affairs team, who has also worked with us very closely. And lastly, just wanted to say thank you to you, Senator Dennis. It's going to be the last time I think we're before you in the Senate Education, and it's been an honor to work with you. And just want to say thank you for always having an open door for everyone and always being kind and gentle, and despite the many years of service, always staying humble. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Randy Robison. I'm appearing before you today with two different hats. First, from the City of Las Vegas, as one of the partner agencies for the Southern Nevada Forum. We support this bill, obviously, but also want to thank each of you for your involvement in the forum over the years. I think it's turned out to be a good place to generate good ideas like this one's before you this evening. The other hat I'm wearing tonight is as the chair of the Institutional Advisory Council at the College of Southern Nevada. I've had the privilege of serving on that council for many years now, and I have tried to beat this drum as much as I can on dual enrollment. Many, many years ago, and for many years in this building, some of you might remember I represented school boards and superintendents. And way back then, we talked about a college-going culture, how we needed to change the culture into a college-going culture. At the time, I thought, well, that's a idealistic kind of idea to pursue. Let's do that. And then I became a dad, and had a kid, had 5 kids. But the oldest one, I love them all the same, but the oldest one turned out to be a pretty smart kid, right? And before you jump in, Doc Hardy, I'll admit on the record, 99% of his smarts he got from his mom. The other 1% he got from his mother-in-law. But as he grew up, he really didn't have much of an interest in college, even though he was quite smart. He was taking all the advanced courses. And then came his junior year, where he took a dual credit history course. And that flipped the switch in his mind. And for those of you who are current or former teachers, you have seen that before many times in your classroom, when all of a sudden the light bulb goes on and it just changes that young student's perspective on the world. And so that's what this bill does for some of our most at-risk students. It literally expands their vision, and once it's expanded, it never goes back to the same. Depending on how they pursue it, it may shrink a little bit, but it never goes back to the same. And I think that's what the great opportunity is with a bill like this. I love the pilot program idea. We'll get some great data out of it and be able to refine it as we go along. So again, thank you for hearing it. Thank you for staying late tonight to get this through, and appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to give testimony here? Okay, let's go to those online. Anyone wishing to give testimony in support?
Thank you, Chair Dennis. If you'd like to testify in support on AB 319, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 853, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Doug Unger, D-O-U-G-U-N-G-E-R, Southern Nevada Government Affairs Representative for the Nevada Faculty Alliance. Representing the faculty of the College of Southern Nevada, please know that we strongly support AB 319. We believe that dual credit courses increase commitment and also retention, completion, and graduation rates in community colleges. We strongly support AB 319 and ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the next caller.
Caller with the last 3 digits, 030, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Good evening, Chair Dennis, members of the Education Committee. My name is Brad Keating, B-R-A-D-K-E-A-T-I-N-G, with the Clark County School District, testifying in support of AB 319. CCSD Superintendent Jesus Jara has continually expressed support for increases in dual enrollment in our Clark County School District's Focus 2024 plan. At CCSD, expanding dual enrollment and dual credit opportunities aligned to CTE pathways so we can target high skill and high demand industries in Southern Nevada and the state is critical. This can best be accomplished in continued collaboration with our partners at CSN and other NG institutions. It is our hope that this pilot program will be such a success that we will be able to expand these types of efforts throughout the state. Once again, I want to thank Assemblyman Roberts for sponsoring this bill and allowing us to come show our support today for the expansion of dual enrollment opportunities for students. Thank you, members, for your time.
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller.
Sure, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Okay, thank you. Let's go. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the bill? Come forward. No one's coming forward here. Let's see if there's anyone online.
If you'd like to testify in opposition on AB 319, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. Let's anyone wishing to give testimony in neutral here in the room? Let's go online. Anyone online?
If you'd like to testify in neutral on AB 319, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Great. Thank you very much. Assemblyman Roberts, any closing remarks?
Thank you, Assemblyman Roberts, for the record. Assembly District 13, thank you for hearing the bill tonight. I urge passing, and you can impact 1,000 kids right off the bat. This program's ready to go. And then on a last note, I've known you for 12 years, Chair. Even when I lobbied, and then the last 2 years working with you, you've done a lot of great things for the state. You're leaving a long-lasting legacy. And I'm really missed using all of my 5 fouls in the donkey elephant basketball game this year on you. But thank you for your service, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll go ahead and close the hearing on AB 319 and open the hearing on AB 371. Assemblywoman Miller, welcome back. It's always good to have you. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right, good evening, Chair Dennis and committee members. For the record, I'm Brittany Miller and I represent Assembly District 5, and I'm here to present Assembly Bill 371. Whereas systematic racism and structures of racial discrimination create generational poverty and perpetuate debilitating economic, educational, and health hardships, and disproportionately affect people of color, causing the single most profound economic and social challenge facing Nevada. These are words taken directly from SCR 1 that this legislative body passed last summer. Assembly Bill 371 seeks to ensure that discrimination based on race is appropriately disclosed, investigated, tracked, and effectively dealt with at school. Students actually report these instances all the time, but far too often the reports are reduced, minimized, and just often plainly dismissed. Rather than start from scratch, this measure seeks to build upon the existing framework of bullying protocols to ensure students are also free of discrimination based on race in the school environment. Under existing laws, reports of bullying must be investigated. The same would hold true for discrimination. I'll give a brief summary of a few points of the bill. The primary points are that in sections 1 and 2, it requires that incidents based on race are included in the accountability reports to the state and school boards. Section 4 establishes the definition of discrimination based on race. Section 5 requires that incidences are categorized as discrimination based on race in Infinite Campus and other accountability reports. Section 6 requires that restorative justice practices are applied for both the victims and the offenders. Sections 8 through 24 include existing laws on the provisions of and affirms that safe and respectful learning environments must be maintained and that no form of discrimination based on race is accepted. Finally, Section 25 includes accountability measures for staff to comply. Now, in the first hearing that we had on the assembly side, we were able to have many of our students here in Nevada, or recently graduated students, participate in the hearing. But knowing the unpredictability of our schedule at this point in session, working with partners, we actually recorded our students, so they're part of the presentation. So we are going to show a video because our students have some things that they would like, some experiences they would like to share.
My name is Dajane Cage. I support this bill because we need to stop racism in schools. Another reason why I support this bill is because when I was in 11th grade, I encountered a racial event. In the first semester of 11th grade, I asked my teacher to go to the bathroom, even though I have a 504 medical plan saying that I can go whenever it's necessary. So, even though she said no, I left because it was an emergency. So when I came back to a referral, and I was sentenced to 3 months of behavioral school, and any credit that I had earned was gone. So, yeah. And all of that was due to the power that was given to a racist teacher.
Hi, my name is Andrea Espinoza, and I am in support of this bill. In elementary school, I was called to read in the front of the class, and due to my English being my second language, I had trouble pronouncing some English words. I was stopped and told by my white teacher assistant that I shouldn't read anymore because a person like me shouldn't even be allowed to go to school if I can't speak English. The other white teacher that was there and didn't say anything on my behalf to stop the TA. I also reported this incident and no actions were taken.
Hi, I'm Kaylana Kaufman, and I support this bill because racism needs to end.
Going to school as an Asian American was hard. It wasn't just the names like Ching Chong that would make me feel bad for being Japanese, but the expectation for me to excel in every subject because of the stereotype of every Asian has A's and B's today. Today I wasn't even going to speak on my part because I was bullied when I would stutter in front of the class and I didn't read as well as the other kids. They would say, "You're Asian, you're supposed to be smart," and it made me scared to raise my hand or be called on. It always made me uncomfortable when we would talk about Pearl Harbor or any subject along those lines because kids would say that my family personally did all of those things. I was paying more attention to what they would say about me than what the teachers were teaching. To make things better, you need to start from somewhere, and starting somewhere is where they start.
Hi, my name is TJ. I support this bill. I went to school in Mark Carey Elementary School, and when I was in the 4th grade, I had a teacher who used to send us home, the kids, with basically a report about your behavior for the week. And you either got a smiley face or she would write a note about how you acted or whatever. So I went to a predominantly white school. I was the only black child in that class. All of my other friends, no matter how they was acting, we sat at tables by 4. Everybody else was talking, but I was always the one that was picked out and singled out every single time. And the teacher, she never got reprimanded for any of that. I told my parents, they came up there, had a meeting, nothing happened to the teacher. I was kept in that class and I had to endure that. My parents didn't play those type of games because my mom was a teacher, so I already knew how to act. That was the only year in my school life that I've ever got in trouble at all. I've never been to a dean's office, principal's office, no type of bad behavior at school whatsoever. So clearly that was me being singled out, and I believe it was for my skin color.
Hello, my name is Davion Valle, and I support this bill because racism in school needs to end. Kids will always say subliminal jokes to put me down, and it's not only the names and actions of the other kids, but the teachers as well. They never gave me a chance to excel, not only because of my skin color, but the way that I dressed and how my hair looked. They automatically put me in a category as like a thug or another black male that has no hope. They assumed that I was gonna flunk out, and I almost did. And they thought I'd be nobody, so they didn't give me the hope I needed at the time. If we all want to succeed, we can't have people looking at each other differently because of their ethnicity. It would never be okay that they judge us simply because we're black. For us to evolve as humans, we have to stop racism with all ethnicities, at least for the youth.
Hi, my name is Mia Smith, and I support this bill because racism needs to be addressed. I've seen the problems with others and have experienced my own racism. I got suspended from school because I reacted to someone calling me a nigger with the hard R. I was forced to be kicked out of school, and I wasn't allowed to come back. Some of my other friends switched schools with me, and they had the same misfortune. When we were hanging out, we shared our stories, and we all felt the same, like we were misheard. We felt left behind, like there was no justice for us. It probably wasn't because of our skin, but it definitely wasn't a coincidence that we were the only ones that felt like this. And this was here in Las Vegas.
My name is Pedro Rosas Rubio. I support this bill because racism needs to be addressed in schools. Racism happened to me many times in school. One of them was when I didn't understand any English. Other students treated me like different and tried to speak Spanish, but they would just say, "tú brincar la frontera," which means if I jump the border. This made me feel uncomfortable and like I couldn't fit in because often students made me feel less. We need to get rid of racism and give the opportunity to the students to report this kind of acts because it can really affect students short and long term. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jesse Cruz, and I'm in support of this bill because racism needs to be addressed in schools. It was freshman year in my AP Human Geography class when we had a very prevalent substitute teacher sub for our class because our teacher wasn't there that day. This teacher is an old white man who subs for almost every substitute, for almost every teacher at our school. He's very well known, well liked because he's a sweet old man. But in this day, in our AP Human Geo class, we were learning about different countries and in their agricultural process. And we got to the topic of Asia, specifically Thailand and China and other countries in that area. And our substitute decided to point to the only two Asian American Pacific Islander students and make them stand up while he speaks about their perceived ethnic background, assuming that they were both from China and Thailand, respectively. And so he made them stand up. He talked about their perceived countries, and it wasn't until he was done speaking that he decided to let them sit down. And so everyone in the class was incredibly uncomfortable because he was well-liked, well-known, but he just assumed that these two students were just okay with whatever he was doing and making assumptions about them in the entire time.
My name is Tylen Shawn. I support this bill to end racism in school. My experience with racism was as simple as not having any expectation in my work. My teachers belittled me multiple times. One incident when I was just goofing off and not paying attention, a white teacher told me that I wasn't going to be anything at all. And of course I asked him why, and he said he just said because I was black. And when I tried to report it to the principal, they looked at me like I was crazy and they didn't believe me. They thought I was lying. They said he didn't do it.
My name is Haiti Martinez, and I support this bill to end racism in schools. I have had to hide my own ethnicity in terms of not feeling different as well as feeling more empowered by anybody else. I've gone through a situation in which I was helping a student at open house by translating to them, and I was told by an adult to speak English, and I was surrounded by many of other people, yet nobody else was able to tell me or help me in speaking up for myself because I was in shock as well as the other student. It was kind of as though I felt like I was less than someone else because I was helping someone else, yet I was standing there being a student ambassador, assisting somebody in being able to attend a school that they wanted to attend.
My name is Cherish Smith, and I am in full support of AB 371. I was recently a high school student in Durango High School, and I'm going to be telling you how undocumented racism has changed my life in the most horrific way. I was being bullied by students because I was black in Durango High School, and I was judged and mistreated predominantly by white staff. My junior year, another classmate of mine was taunting me and wanting to fight me with no reasoning at all. She followed me all the way home with her group of friends on the bus, which, by the way, I had to take every day to and from school. They made it a school law that you are still on school property until you touch your doorknob. Well, I made it all the way home into my door. Then she dragged me, which started a physical altercation. The whole situation was recorded, and when I went to school, I showed the principal the video. Instead of trying to help me, they sent me to a continuation school and removed me from the Clark County School District. They said because I wasn't in my home, I was still on school property. I had wrote multiple reports of her bullying as well as my mother. However, nothing ever happened. Instead of disciplining the aggressors, they gave me a max sentence and kicked me out of the school district right after continuation. Not only was I an honor student, but I had never been in trouble, never been in detention, and I was forced to move to Texas to finish school in another state. This affected me so much because racism has traveled in the school system, not just in Las Vegas districts where I was a victim. I was feeling alone, shoved out, and blatantly uncomfortable. I still want the school system to know that regardless of how hard they fought to make sure I was unsuccessful, I beat that. The school system didn't care about my education because they only see me as an angry black girl, but I beat the odds. I graduated with honors in all 6 of my subjects, and I hope you guys pass this bill and make the changes that you didn't make when I was in high school, because I graduated 5 years ago and there definitely needs to be a change, and I'm in full support of AB 371.
Hi, my name is Shanjarion Coleman, and I'm in support of Bill AB 371. Racism is a real problem,
And you guys might not see it, but we do. The people that experience it and go through it every day. In the school, on the streets, we're here to talk about the school. I went through this at a track and field meet at Cheyenne High School against Durango High School, where a white male student told me he couldn't believe he was beaten by a half-step nigger. At the time, I was taken aback and hurt because neither my coach nor his coach said anything. And in today's society, in order to see a change, we must be a change. And I'm holding you guys accountable and you guys responsible to be that change so we can see it ourselves. Thank you.
My name is Chair Smith, and I'm in full support of AB 371.
My name is TJ Mbouk, and I support AB 371. Hi, my name is Shajarian Coleman, and I support Bill AB 371.
My name is Mia Smith, and I support the bill AB 371.
My name is Tylen Shaw, and I support the bill AB 371.
My name is Ajane Cage, and I support AB 371.
My name is Davion Valle, and I support the bill AB 371.
My name is Sadie Martinez, and I support AB 371.
Hi, my name is Jesse Cruz, and I support AB 371.
My name is Andres Espinosa, and I am supportive of AB 371.
Me llamo Pedro Rosa Rubio y yo apoyo el AB 371.
I'm Kaylana, and I support AB 371.
So just to reiterate, the main point of this measure is to ensure that the investigation actually takes place, because that's literally where justice begins, is with the investigation. It's our job to ensure, as you heard one of our former students say, that our students feel valued and emotionally and physically protected in safe and respectful learning environments that are conducive to their academic and social and emotional growth. Chair Dennis, that concludes my presentation on AB 371, and I am happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Yes, Senator Buck.
Thank you, Chair Dennis. Thank you, Ms. Miller, for bringing this bill. In this bill, do we differentiate between staff and students? Because although we need to hold everyone accountable, there seems to be missing a protocol when it comes to staffing, holding staff accountable, HR processes. And so can you explain a little bit of the differences?
Yes, thank you, Senator, for that question. Actually, originally in the bill's first alliteration, it did have staff in there as well. And I think it's important to say that both staff and students can be both offenders and victims. And so, but it wasn't the most appropriate place to include staff as victims. And again, staff can be victims, as myself specifically has been a victim. I've been a victim from other staff. I've been a victim from students. And so to put staff in there, it does, as you mentioned, it opens so many HR issues and other issues like that it wasn't appropriate in the bill. So I focused the bill on students being the victims. And again, students can be the victims of other victims, or students can be the victims of staff. In the bill, it does have a compliance requirement for staff. And so really what it is with compliance is just like bullying. And I'll even reference the Me Too movement. Anytime there's been any type of harassment or discrimination, regardless of the nature, oftentimes when the victim reports, the challenge is the person or the authority they're reporting to has had the ability to dismiss it and reduce it. We've all heard those scenarios of, oh, you're misunderstanding. Are you sure you heard it right? They were joking. You don't know him. He's a really nice person. All that kind of stuff. So we're taking, just like we did with the bullying protocols, through the legislation that's been passed here in multiple sessions, that now when a student reports either for themselves or someone else, it's no longer up to the discretion of a staff member to decide if they deem it as bullying or not. There's an entire protocol that must start and it must be investigated. So this is essentially the same thing, that when a student now, as opposed to what we heard on the video, when instead of a student reporting and a teacher or a staff or whomever dismissing it, but the same exact protocols will be instituted so that the investigation begins.
Other questions? Yeah, Senator Doñate.
Thank you so much, Chair Dennis. So just to follow up on Senator Brooke, that clarification was made on Section 22, correct, of the bill that says this provisions of this NRS do not apply to an employee of a school district against another employee of a school district, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Senator Buck.
Well, I was actually more concerned about what was reported on the video, because if that was ever reported to me as a principal that somebody had done that, I would open an investigation. So it seems to me that it was a complete failure of a discipline system on staff. And so that's where I see that this is maybe missing the mark. It's failure to discipline staff. Most of those examples were staff actually being discriminatory.
And yes, Senator, in that case, of the students that did participate in the video, yes, it does sound more like staff are actually doing it, but we also know that more so it's still students against students and staff not responding appropriately to investigate or to hold the other students accountable. And so when it's a staff, that is an HR issue. If the discrimination's coming from the staff, that is definitely an HR issue. When the discrimination is this type of racial bullying is between student and the staffs are not responding to it appropriately, that will be reflected on their evaluation, and of course, like anything else, the same requirements with bullying, that with the same compliance requirements, that corrective action can be taken as well.
Thank you so much for clarifying that, because the video presented a lot of, I say, egregious discrimination by staff. And so a lot of your examples were staff.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. We'll take testimony, those that are here that want to come forward to give testimony in support.
Thank you, Chair Dennis and members of the committee. My name is Eric Jang, ERICJENG, on behalf of the Asian Community Development Council, speaking in support of AB 371. We want to thank Assemblywoman Miller for bringing this timely and critical legislation, and all the student leaders that was on the video that are brave enough to share their personal stories. Nevada is home to over 330,000 Asian Pacific Islander Americans, comprising around 10%, 11% of the total populations. Right now, our community account for 6.9% of students in Nevada and 7.7% of students in CCSD. Although a month ago, when CCSD nor did the other school district release the racial data breakdown for the return to in-person for the parent survey, we did find national statistics from IES, the research arm from Department of Education, that found Asian parents are the least likely among all racial groups to want their children back in person. We also saw the same stats from the Los Angeles Public School District, New York, San Francisco, and Chicago. It's not surprising why. The National Stop AAPI Hate, the website, reported close to 3,800 anti-Asian racism incidents from last March to this February. Out of that, about 13% of all AAPI hate crimes are committed against our youth, with 4.5% of all hate incidents happening at our schools. Our API students should feel safe at school, whether that be in classroom or at home on their devices. By ensuring that there are standardized procedure to address racial discrimination and harassment in school, it is a much needed right step to keep our students safe and continue to learn. So often, this discrimination faced by Asian and Pacific Islander students include verbal abuse, such as, there's a lot of things I won't read here, and the perpetuation of racial stereotypes and model minority stereotypes. By ensuring that incidents of discrimination based on race is reported as such, we'll begin to address the intolerant school climate suffered by thousands of students and empower our students to speak out about their experiences with racial discrimination in our system. So thank you. We urge you to support AB 371.
Thank you. Let's go to the next person.
Good evening, Chair Dennis and members of the committee. For the record, Benjamin Challenor, Policy Director for Faith in Action Nevada. We are here in support for AB 371, and we'd like to thank Assemblymember Brittany Miller for bringing this important bill. A lot of those who make up of the faith communities within Faith in Action Nevada, in particular those who are coming from the Middle East of the Islamic and Muslim faith, have definitely recently experienced an increase of discrimination against them, in particular due to the Muslim ban, and as well as those from the Latinx community. So that's why we are here in support to make sure that those offenses get reported in school. Also from a personal experience, I remember, although, as I mentioned before in committee, although my dad's white, I still got called a wetback at school. I've seen other friends get called other stuff in school from different folks, from other students. I've seen family members get called different things, be treated differently. And one instance that I specifically remember was in 8th grade. I remember running for student government, and a teacher that I admired at the time had mentioned, it's really great that you and those of you are get involved in that way. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but as I got older, it really hit what that meant, what he was trying to say, and I want to make sure, not just through me personally, but as well as through Faith in Action, that we make sure that we are looking at everything. We're making sure that it gets reported and that it gets addressed to make sure that all students feel comfortable and safe and learn to the best of their potential. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's go ahead.
Hola, mi nombre es Maria Teresa Lieberman Parraga, for the record, and also translation purposes. My name is Maria Teresa Lieberman Parraga, and I'm in full support I'm the Deputy Director of Battleborn Progress, but as an individual, I'm in full support as well for AB 371. And I started saying my full name in Spanish because I did it for those kids that I was once like, who got to this country and didn't know any word of English, and if I would speak Spanish with a friend or with my mom going out to her car, anything like that, there have been multiple times where students, teachers slowly picked away at that identity. And the experience that, as someone who is much older than those kids, is that for a long time your identity is taken away from you. And only until you're older and you realize what really happened and that you're not the one at fault, that it was prejudice, do you start to retake back your identity. And these kids, when I grew up, and some of these kids, they'll never get justice for those incidents. And so you should support this bill, because future kids that are going to experience these things need that justice and need these investigations to proceed. Because if we can just help our children have a better future, have better esteem in themselves and who they are, whether it's their skin color, their faith, their nationality, their lack of English knowledge, we can't have our kids be scarred for life, because that stays for life. It never goes away. So please support AB 371. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the next person. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. Alexander Marks with the Nevada State Education Association. We support Assembly Bill 371 to define and include discrimination based on race in existing law related to bullying. Educators understand that a respectful learning environment is necessary for students to best be prepared for learning, and I think we heard that from those students today. School communities should embrace students so they feel safe and welcome, and any incident of racism at school is clearly counter to creating a safe and respectful learning environment and needs to be taken very seriously. Reports of racially motivated incidents should be validated and seriously investigated. Assembly Bill 371 requires reports of racially motivated incidents to be investigated with the same protocols as incidences of bullying, with heightened public dialogue about systemic racism and protests under the banner Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate movements. Now is the time for Nevada to do more to address this serious problem of racism in our schools, and we urge your support of AB 371. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Chair and members of the committee. For the record, Christine Saunders with the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada, here in support of Assembly Bill 371. I just want to echo the sentiments of those who spoke before me. Racial discrimination in schools impacts students' ability to learn, their self-esteem, mental health, and feelings of safety. And because racism is a learned behavior, we must take action to address it immediately in our schools, and we urge your support of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
For the record, my name is Annette Magnus, and I'm the Executive Director of Battleborn Progress. I'm here today in support of Assembly Bill 371, and thank Assemblywoman Miller for this important bill. Racism in schools should not stand or be tolerated. It's not enough to say racism is bad. We need to take real action to address it, especially in our schools. The hate and threats our students receive will mark them for life. Our schools shouldn't be places where hate is allowed. Please help bring solutions to racially motivated bullying and discriminations in schools and vote yes for AB 371. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
My name is Mike Dyer, and I'm speaking in two capacities tonight. The first one is as the director of the Nevada Catholic Conference. And the Nevada Catholic Conference, for those of you that may not know, is the way that the Catholic bishops in Nevada interact with the legislature. And in that capacity, the Catholic Church is opposed to any type of racism and supports this bill in that capacity fully. I also want to speak personally. I'm an old white guy, and I grew up in a segregated South, and I went through segregated schools. And it wasn't until I got into college and the military that I had any real exposure to people of other races. And that exposure changed my life. And I think that this bill can change lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to give testimony and support? Let's go online. Anyone online wishing to give support for AB 371?
Thank you, Chair. If you'd like to testify in support for AB 371, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last 3 digits, 853, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Doug Unger, D-O-U-G-U-N-G-E-R, Southern Nevada Government Affairs Representative for the Nevada Faculty Alliance. On behalf of Southern Nevada faculty of the College of Southern Nevada, Nevada State College, and UNLV, we would like to express our support for AB 371. We believe it will create a safer and more welcoming environment for our students. We believe these measures are very, very helpful, not only K through 12, but K through 20, and we fully support them. Thank you for your support. I would also like to express my personal thanks to Chair Dennis for his chairmanship of the Education Committee all these years and his good stewardship of education for our state. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller.
Caller with the last 3 digits, 959, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Thank you. My name is Attar Hasibullah, first name spelled A-T-H-A-R, last name spelled H-A-S-E-E-B-U-L-L-A-H. I am the Executive Director for the American Civil Liberties Union of Nevada. testifying in support of this tremendous bill. Obviously, you've seen from the video the testimony of our students. I'm also the chair for the West Las Vegas Promise Neighborhood Education and Youth Development Initiative. And one of our focuses is trying to improve student outcomes. And one of the ways that we can best go about achieving that is to make sure that students feel a sense of being welcome, being supported, and having the ability to thrive in a learning setting rather than focusing on the racist experiences that they might have. To address Senator Buck's point, and I really appreciate that point, I don't know that this bill solves for every issue in the universe, but it solves for many of them. And I think that it's incumbent on this body to try to move some of those initiatives forward to the extent possible. This bill does a whole lot of good for many of the kids in our district, and we certainly hear about it consistently in CCSD. So while it doesn't address every issue, it certainly will go a long way in helping a lot of our students, and you've heard that from our students today. I'll also say I'm very appreciative to Assemblywoman Miller for allowing us to participate in the filming of the video with the students. This is the first time this session I've seen students disengaged, and many of the students actually wanted to be present in Carson City to be able to come and testify in person. And so these types of bills have the opportunity, that's twofold, both to address issues that are ongoing, but also to make sure students have a voice in the process. So we're appreciative for the committee. Obviously, we view this as a civil rights issue moving forward as well. And we encourage this committee to work session this, get this out of committee, and get this done for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller.
Caller with the last three digits, 048, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Stephen Cohen for the record. I'll keep it nice and short and sweet at this point in session. Ditto. And with that, Mr. Chair, thank you, and I yield.
Thank you. Let's go to the next caller.
Chair, there are no more callers in support at this time.
Okay, let's go. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition to AB 371? Nobody here. Let's check online.
If you'd like to testify in opposition for AB 371, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. Let's go to anyone wishing to speak in neutral here. No one's coming forward. Neutral online.
If you would like to testify in neutral for AB 371, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, there are no callers in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Okay, Assemblywoman, any final comments?
Yes, Chair Dennis, thank you for that. I would just like to first thank the students who participated for their courage and for being brave and for advocating at this point for themselves. What I don't know that the students don't know yet is that, and Maria alluded to it, is that sometimes the scars of racism, they just don't really heal. And that's because those sores are often ripped open repeatedly. I understand everything that everyone that testified and all the students expressed. One of the things that is so complex and ironic for me is that I've spent the last 6 years teaching in a district that represents 170 countries, speaking 79 languages, and in my own home school, speaking 59 languages. There is literally no reason, excuse, or room for any type of racism in our schools. Nevada is positioned to be the state that ultimately eliminates systemic racism because of our beautiful diversity, because of our amazing inclusion. And that's what we need to continue to strive for. One of my students last year, well, this current school year, I suppose, even while we were still virtual, so I've never physically met her, she hung around on virtual after class one day and asked me, "Miss Miller, will you start an anti-racism club?" And just hearing the word, "will you start an after-school, any kind of club," especially during campaign season, is very challenging. but it's racism. And she said, well, you start an anti-racism club because you seem like the type of teacher that wants to end racism. And I'm not sure how she picked that up, but she did. And so I said, sure, we'll start an after-school anti-racism club. Yeah, but I'm going to put you in charge. You have to, publicize and tell the students, and we'll go ahead and start. And so the first day, she had over 30 students on virtual after school, which sometimes anyone who taught virtually this year knows you can't get 30 students in your actual class. And I listened to the first thing all my sixth graders wanted to talk about was their experiences in fourth and fifth grade from other students. And of course, the first question any of us as adults always ask is, well, did you report it? Did you tell the teacher? What happened? And every time they told me they reported the teacher and that the teacher said, it's not that big of a deal. Just let it go. Just go play over here. And some would even tell the students, don't do that again. And so to listen to all of these new sixth graders express themselves and talk about their experiences. The leader of this group, she, on my last day, now my students don't know I'm elected until they need to know I'm elected, which is generally January when I have to explain why I'm going to leave for the rest of the school year. And once I explained, I give them, a month to kind of get used to that idea. Once I explained my other job and why I'd be leaving them for the rest of the year, on the last day that I taught them, she asked me at the end of the class in front of everyone, she said, Miss Miller, because you make the laws, will you please make a law to end racism? Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you very much. Thank you for bringing this legislation forward. Okay, we will go ahead and close the hearing on AB 371. I would like to take just a pause for a second so that we can take up these bills. We do have a work session document, if it'll help you, even though we just heard them all tonight. But since our staff put it together, I'll have her hand that out real quick, and then we'll go ahead and take up the bills.
Chair,
Yeah.
would you mind? I'd like to make a suggestion. You can say no or whatever, but I think all these bills are due pass, and I don't think anybody's objecting to any of them. I don't know if that helps you, but could we do a consent calendar and just pass them all out at one time?
I was going to ask. I was going to ask Mr. Killian. We don't really have it agendized that way, but.
I haven't seen that done recently, but I don't see a reason why you couldn't, Mr. Chair.
I don't know that, well, I think one of the things we could do in case if there's a question, I guess we could just we don't necessarily need to have her read the full thing if we want to just do it and vote on them.
I'm not opposed to that either. I don't think there's any objection to it.
Senator Hardy.
Looking at the work session document, all of them are due pass except for AB 247, which has all the amendments that I think we all agree on when we heard the bill. And I would support Senator Hammond's suggestion.
Do we have, I don't know, I guess we could do that. How do we want to do them individually? Anybody feel differently?
Consent calendar.
Okay, well, and that's true. We do have one of our members that wasn't here for all of them because she was having to take care of her committee. So why don't we just start and go through them? And would you like for Ms. Sturm to go through the work session document, or do you just want to take a minute to look through it? What's your preference?
That's up to you.
We'll just do a real quick. I don't think we need to read the whole thing because everybody's got a copy, but if you can just do a real quick and then.
Are we missing one person though down at the end?
Who are we? Oh, yes, sorry, not yet. She asked if she could go use the restroom, so we'll wait just a second.
Well, to give her cover, I'll go too.
Okay, why don't we start? Ms. Sturm, we'll go back on the record, and we're going to go through these. So, Ms. Sturm, if you'd walk us through real quick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jen Sturm, Committee Policy Analyst. The first bill on work session is Assembly Bill 156, presented today. That was by Assemblywoman Titus. The bill authorizes active members of the Nevada National Guard who attend a school within NSHE and who reenlist to assign the registration and lab fee waiver to either a spouse or child in lieu of using the waiver themselves during the reenlistment period. And there were no amendments proposed. Mr. Chair.
All right, any questions? I'll entertain a motion. We have a motion to pass, Senator Doñate, second from Senator Hammond. Further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Let's go to the next one and I'll figure out on the statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jen Sturm, Committee Policy Analyst. The next bill is Assembly Bill 165, which was presented tonight by Assemblywoman Hardy. The bill removes the 5-year limitation on assessing tuition charges against honorably discharged veterans, thereby prohibiting the Board of Regents from assessing a tuition charge against certain veterans. And there were no proposed amendments. Mr. Chair.
Any discussion, questions? Entertain a motion. We got heard a so move somewhere. Is that you? Okay, I'll take Senator Lang in a second from Senator Doñate. Further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Why don't we have Hardy, Senator Hardy, would you do that one? Go to the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jen Sturm for the record. The next bill on work session is Assembly Bill 225, which was presented by Assemblywoman Tolles this evening. The bill requires the Commission on Professional Standards in Education to consider alternative means of demonstrating competency for persons with a disability or health-related need when adopting regulations governing licensure examinations for teachers and other educational personnel. There were no proposed amendments. Mr. Chair.
Any questions? We have a motion, a due pass from Senator Hardy, second from Senator Buck. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Let's see, Senator Dondero Loop, would you do that one? Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jen Sturm, Committee Policy Analyst. The next bill is Assembly Bill 247, which was presented by Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson. The bill changes the name of the Office of the Western Regional Education Compact within the Office of the Governor to the Nevada Office of the Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education. The bill also revises provisions concerning financial support provided to a WICHE participant. The bill deletes certain provisions concerning interest rates, payback provisions, and penalties, and requires that the 3 Nevada State Commissioners acting jointly adopt regulations governing these matters, and then makes other various administrative and conforming changes. There were no proposed amendments. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any discussion? It will do pass from Senator Hardy, second from Senator Lang. Further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Let's see, that one. I'll do that one.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jen Sturm, Committee Policy Analyst. The next bill is Assembly Bill 262, which was presented this evening by Assemblywoman Anderson. The bill requires the Board of Regents to grant a waiver of registration fees, laboratory fees, and other mandatory fees assessed against certain students who are members of a federally recognized Indian tribe or nation, all or part of which is located within the boundaries of the state, or who are certified as being a descendant as an enrolled member of the tribe or nation. And there were no proposed amendments for this bill. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. We'll have a motion from Senator Lang, second by Senator Buck. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Senator Buck, would you do that one? Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next bill is Assembly Bill 319, which was presented this evening by Assemblyman Roberts. The bill requires the College of Southern Nevada to establish a 2-year pilot program to offer enhanced opportunities for pupils who are part of underserved communities or at risk to enroll in dual credit courses where they may earn at least 15 college credits. There were no proposed amendments for this bill. Mr. Chair.
Discussion? We have a do pass from Senator Hardy, second from Senator Doñate. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Senator Hammond, would you do that? You consider AB 371.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The final bill on work session this evening is Assembly Bill 371, which was presented this evening by Assemblywoman Miller. The bill extends provisions relating to bullying and cyberbullying to additionally prohibit and address discrimination based on race. Furthermore, the bill requires the governing body of school districts and charter schools to categorize an incident of discrimination based on race as a racially motivated or hate incident. There were no proposed amendments. Mr. Chair.
Questions? We have a do pass from Senator Hardy, second from Senator Buck. Further discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Senator Doñate, would you do that one? Okay, those are all the bills that we have to consider. Don't know if we have any more coming our way. I guess there could be. There was actually a possibility of 12 that could come our way, and we got 7 of them, but so I don't know if we're going to get any of the other ones yet. We need to do public comment, and so let's go to public comment. Anybody wishing to give public comment? If you come forward.
Thank you. This is Will Adler, I guess representing Silver State Government Relations, but I just want to thank you, Senator Dennis, for all your service all these years, inside and outside of this building. You've been a treat and a treasure, and you'll be missed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Benjamin Challoner, this time representing myself. For those that may not know, my first job in the building was working for Senator Dennis. He gave me the first opportunity to be here in this building, working with this committee, then working down a leadership office, and now being on this side, still advocating for the people. And he was an inspiration. Being a young Latino, it's definitely a huge inspiration. And thank you for everything you've done, Senator Dennis. And the children of this state have a lot to thank you for. So thank you.
Thank you. You're all grown up now. All right. Anybody else wishing to give public comment? Let's go to the phone lines. Anybody online wishing to give public comment?
Thank you, Chair. If you'd like to participate in public comment, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last three digits, 117, please slowly state and spell your name for the record. You have 2 minutes and you may begin.
Hi, my name is Michael Guss. My last name is spelled G-U-S-S. First, I want to thank the staff who I had a privilege to work with, Asher Killian and Jen Sturm, and Shane Harris and Ian Gaynor, especially Ian. I know I left mid-session and he had a lot of work to keep up with, as well as Sirius Sosa, who has unrivaled knowledge of the institution of the Nevada Legislature that I've learned so much from. But most of all, I want to thank you, Senator Dennis. It was really an honor to work with and for you. You've made a huge difference for the state of Nevada, and the people of Nevada are better off for it. And you're leaving a strong foundation for people who come after you, maybe Ben Challenor, maybe others, to come and build on. And you will be missed, and farewell.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to give public comment?
Chair, the public line is open and working. However, there are no more callers at this time.
Thank you. Before we finish, I do want to take just a moment to thank all those that really, people thank us for all the stuff we do, but we can't do anything that we do without good people to help us. And especially this session, we've got additional staff that have helped with all of our broadcast and production service folks and IT and all of us that kept us running our, without our computers and all of that, we couldn't do that. So I wanted to give a special thank to Kim Bennett and Wakanda Carter, who do our remote participation hosts. You do an amazing job. We have Kayleen Talens, our public comment host. We've got Star Linton, our BPS coordinator, David Wilding, our camera operator, and Ethan Salerno and Spencer O'Brien, Information Technology Services. They do an amazing job, and I'm grateful for all the work that they do. Also want to express my gratitude for our committee staff. We have Jen Sturm, who's been here making sure everything gets done, and make sure she tracks me down wherever I'm at to make sure we're getting done all the paperwork that we need to do, and being prepared, and she does just an amazing job. Asher Killian, our amazing legal counsel, does amazing work. I've had the opportunity to work with him on some major things and some little things, and he's always there and always knows the answer and does great work. Stephen Jameson is our policy assistant. We can't do this stuff without folks that can help us understand these issues. Shane, our committee manager, he's great, and he's also helped with some of the things that we're going to do for the committee here in a minute. Ian Goner, our committee secretary, has done a great job. He does such a great job. They've even drafted him. He's doing finance, for trying to help out at finance too. So, and Sirius Sosa, my legislative assistant, she's always making sure that people can get in and find out what's going on. So, I just want to take, I appreciate all of you, but I really want to take just a moment to give a heartfelt thanks to my friend and colleague, Senator Hardy. We've been doing this a long time. And, we don't always agree on everything, but he's been a great mentor and friend, and appreciate your service. And I know we've served on education committees throughout our service here, and so thank you very much. Appreciate that. And I want to thank all of you. I mean, we have an amazing committee. Just the expertise that's here on education issues and just the breadth of knowledge. I appreciate the opportunity to work with you, and I think we've done some great things this session that's going to change the lives of children for generations. So thank you for all your work, and with that, we have nothing further to come before us. And,
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Can I make a quick comment as well?
Yes, go ahead.
No, I just want to say that I was really excited to meet you when I first got appointed. I mentioned this when we had the celebration the other day for the Nevada Hispanic Legislative Caucus. And the reason why I was excited was one of my close friends from high school, you are his uncle, and when I was invited to his wedding, I remember seeing you, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Mo Dennis. And now I have the opportunity to sit a few feet away from you. So it's been such a great honor to look at your leadership and how you really care about our community. I think you did a really good job at paving the way for students that look like us and come from the same community. And, you know, I reflect back on all the things that we have done throughout the session, whether it's restorative justice or supporting the rights of ELL students or even getting the funding formula to the finish line. So just know that even though we can't see the direct effects right now, so many students will benefit because of you, and we're really going to miss you, but we'll carry your legacy forward. So thank you so much for your service, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, with that, we have no further items come before us. If you will stop by my office on your way, I know finance is going too, so we got to get there, and there's other things going on, but thank you for that, and we have no further business to come before us at this time. We are adjourned.